week we find ourselves in the beautiful city of Copenhagen. It's the capital of Denmark, but it's also been described as one of the world's most dedicated bike cities. They tell me that Copenhagen has more bikes than people. This is a city of over 700,000. So it might seem a little odd to be hosting a program here about cars and the people who drive them. However, and you knew that was coming, you could also say in this bike-crazy city, it'd be a little strange for a car company to want to launch a new vehicle, right? Well, now that you mention it, Porsche has selected Copenhagen to launch its much ballyhooed Taycan, and the bikers here actually might like it. You see, it's Porsche's first fully electric vehicle, and they're so excited about it, they say it could mark the beginning of a new era. Well, let's find out why.
It's a big moment for our company. It is our very first electric sports car. And yes, there were 3 places around the world where the car was shown simultaneously. One of them was in Canada, in Niagara Falls, so we were extremely happy and proud that for the Americas it was shown in Canada. That was wonderful. The yearly production for the vehicle will be 20,000 worldwide.
It is a new area for Porsche because it's the first electric car that we're bringing out, and it has to fulfill the promise of the first electric Porsche. Electric is pure logic. I mean, it provides full torque at low speeds. It's sporty driving.
You know, when people ask me what I like about an electric vehicle, it's an easy answer. Instant torque. Watch. As our cameraman Pete says, it feels like your heart has just shifted in your chest. It's amazing, and why it's got the 0 to 100 kilometers in this S at 2.8 seconds. But once you're up and running, one word describes this vehicle when it comes to handling, acceleration, and braking, and that is smooth. It is unbelievable. But you know, I fell in love with Porsches many, many years ago, obviously for the iconic design, but also for the sound of the engine. And I remember the air-cooled engines. Now, when you're driving this Taycan, yeah, it's a great ride, but after a few hours, you feel like you're along for the ride. You don't feel like you're engaged. And I find myself missing the sound of the upshifts, the downshifts, and the bark of the exhaust. But who knows? Many, many years from now, maybe a lot of people won't even remember what a Porsche sounds like, and that's kind of sad.
We have 2 motors, one in the front, a little weaker, one in the rear. It's a 4-wheel driven car. It has a chassis comparable to the Panamera. It has a flat flyline, like it should have on a Porsche. It's actually a very low car, very low center of gravity, the lowest center of gravity of all Porsche cars. That's why cornering is really fun on that car.
Inside the Taycan, well, it's all Porsche. It actually feels a bit like the 911. As you can see, there's a lot of information coming at you. Unfortunately, there's not a knob or button to be found, so it can be very distracting if you're looking for something, so definitely pull over. However, there's nothing there about the operation of the vehicle you need. All the battery info is right in front of you. So my advice is, keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel, and just enjoy the ride.
The range is between 400 and 450 kilometers. The key factor for us was to have a quick charging. We wanted to go to 800 volts to minimize charging time. And as you have experienced now, I mean, it's really, we can call it quick charging. So it's real, and that was the target of the whole operation, was to go to a stop, to charge, to drink a cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, return to your car, and go on driving. And that's what you can experience.
Okay, here's one of the challenges of driving an electric vehicle. We're right now on the Autobahn. I should be doing about 200 kilometers an hour. I'm doing 100, and the car won't go over 100. This is the reason why. There was a road closed on the way to our charging station, and we tried to find a detour, which we're on now. And we've got 50 kilometers left on the battery, so the car will only go 100 kilometers an hour to try and save enough energy for us to get to the charging station. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to the Taycan. You see, Porsche took the Taycan Turbo to the Nürburgring. This is where car companies get the bragging rights to see who has the fastest vehicle. Well, they did set a lap record for an electric production vehicle. However, Tesla came along with a Tesla S, and they broke that record, reports say, by almost 20 seconds. My question is, does anybody care?
For the regular customer, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Tesla has almost been the pioneer in electric driving. Nobody's going to doubt about that, and they always will be. But we decided to make a Porsche and not a carbon copy of the Model S. I mean, it's competition out there. Everybody's having fun watching this, and you're making good stories out of them. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Why did Porsche need an electric sports car?
Electric mobility is part of our future. It's something that Porsche has been doing for years. We started with hybrid power plants. We went to plug-in hybrids. So now we are going into a full electric vehicle, and we think it has all the advantages of a Porsche, as the performance and drivability. And now it's just really preparing ourselves for the next step in the future.
Is this the future?
It is the future, and it's here.
Definitely. I'm personally convinced it's electric driving. That's what it's going to be. And hopefully there's some tiny little room for a natural aspirated combustion engine with a manual transmission.
You know, over 100 years before the development of lithium-ion batteries, Ferdinand Porsche actually designed a vehicle in 1893 with electric drives, and today you can bet he'd be proud to see this new Taycan, and the company should also be giving itself a pat on the back for mission accomplished. Without a doubt, this might be the fastest car I've ever driven. Yes, it's expensive and only for the few. 20,000 will be offered globally, but you can bet all will be sold. Is electric mobility the future? Who knows, but Porsche appears committed, as it will sink over 6 billion euros into this technology by 2022. Now, is an electric car, no matter how much I like this Porsche, my cup of tea? No. I'll stick with those sweet internal combustion engines that got Porsche to the electric party in the first place. But you know what's interesting? We drove from Copenhagen to Hamburg, and it was amazing how many heads were turning when they saw this new Taycan, including some students from a public school. And it got me thinking, in the future, maybe, just maybe, an electric car might be the norm for these young kids. Before we go, I know what you're asking. What does Taycan mean? What does it stand for? Well, it's a rough translation, but it means the soul of a young, spirited horse. So finally, after 70 years since the first Porsche was built, that dancing horse now has a name. And you know, that's kind of cool.